Is the Bitcoin Lightning Network making much progress? And if so, will it hurt other payment-related use cases on L1s? Brilliant case. So let's deconstruct for those that do not know, what is the Lightning Network? So first of all, the Lightning Network is a layer 2 scaling solution, kind of like Matic on top of Ethereum. And this is on top of Bitcoin in order to improve the scalability and speed of Bitcoin transactions, because Bitcoin is kind of slow, but it's not designed to be a payment mechanism. And the Lightning Network really just acts as a layer that allows communication between nodes for final settlement. And the way the Lightning Network does this is through payment channels. And these channels allow two parties to transact as many times as they wish. And once the final settlement is done on chain, then it's all kind of closed up. And this final settlement still happens on the Bitcoin blockchain. Remember, that's kind of the settlement layer. Once the first and the last transaction are required to be written on the main chain, and this saves the main chain from having to process all of the transactions in between the first and the last. So it's actually very simplistic when you think about it and how it operates. But there's been some challenges with the development and speed and reliability, but now it's much more mature than it was a while back. So let's compare this to TradFi, which I believe will be heavily disrupted by blockchains and layer 1s, maybe even some layer 2s like Lightning. But think of the relationship between the dollar and your credit card or your PayPal account, and you typically make a transaction with your credit card or whatever account you're using, and it seems like the money is transferred instantly to the vendor. But it's not. There's still a lot of final settlement that has to happen where the credit card companies, the banks, etc., have to settle the transactions using dollars or Fedwire or Swift or any bunch of these legacy systems. Some of them have been around for 50 years. So super old systems. But with the Lightning Network, the key difference is Lightning is permissionless. Anyone can open a Lightning channel and start transacting with anyone else. And that is the power of this. And this is what we need for a lot of adoption on Bitcoin, for those people in places like El Salvador to use it as a payment network. Now, let's talk about some of the key players and how Lightning Network has seen remarkable growth in the past 365 days. These are some of the public figures visible. And you can look at the capacity on the Lightning Network as well. It's gone from about 1,058 Bitcoins of capacity to nearly 5,000 Bitcoins in 2022. So that's nearly a 5x. And the number of Lightning channels increased 80% from about 37,000 to 67,000. And in addition, the number of public Lightning Network nodes rose 88% from about 8,300 to about 16,000. And part of it is, of course, because of countries like El Salvador adopting Bitcoin, and also because of the backers that are behind it, building and improving. People like Jack Dorsey from Square, or now called The Block, and he uses Cash App, which uses this. Jack Mallers, of course, with Strike. Adam Back with Blockstream. And of course, our favorite president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. So again, it has a lot of potential going forward, but still early days yet. But we have the key best people behind it. Now, there are still room for other payment solutions. Some of our favorite chains have really powerful payment solutions. And while the Lightning Network is impressive, it isn't without its downsides. Hence, there's much more room for other payment networks to compete for their own niche. First, Lightning Network doesn't completely solve Bitcoin's scalability problem. And part of the issue with Bitcoin scalability is its congestion. And even if Lightning reduces the amount of transactions on the main chain, congestion can still occur. And this can cause Lightning to become backed up as well. And then second, transaction fees can still be an issue. The fees on Lightning are minimal, but the active opening and closing channels is quite costly, as settlement incurs full Bitcoin transaction charges. And further, you have routing fees as well that are required when transacting between channels. And third, the merchant adoption is still a problem. Merchants still have a hard time adopting Lightning, and there are many factors preventing merchants from doing this. A big one is price volatility. Volatility makes it hard for businesses to price products, etc. And suppliers also sometimes give clients time to pay, like 30 days to settle their bills. And if Bitcoin's price, like it did over the last 48 days, it went up 30%, that could cause a bit of a headache for merchants and people who have to pay their bills. And this exchange risk adds friction to doing business. But this is why, we believe it has a future, but there's a long way to go, and other players are happening as well with other payment channels. I've covered a couple as well in the past, but I hope that answers your question.